Hello, everybody. Matt Brower here, your host on the Industry Alchemist podcast. Today, I'm excited to have MaZix Mahalel joining us. She's incredibly connected and aware energetically and offers thoughtful coaching and insights for many, many leaders looking to up-level. Her mission is to support visionaries and trailblazers to embody the next level of their unlimited potential by breaking through persistent blocks and manifesting their vision now. I had the pleasure of meeting MaZix a few months ago. We instantly felt a soul family connection, and I've gotten to personally experience the impact she has for leaders. Thank you so much for being here, MaZix.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're just so the listeners know, we're doing this over a Zoom or Google Meet. Because I happen to be down in Panama right now doing some development projects, and MaZix is in Denver. So just in case the sound is weird or whatever. So MaZix, I want to start by having you describe your background. And you grew up in Peru, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up in Peru.
Yeah, so just high level, how did you come to being driven to help others through helping them break through their blocks, and what was your journey like to get where you are now?
So I have been in the States for 21, almost 22 years. And in that journey, I came from Peru, let's say to forge a different life. And I was working in the mountains here in Colorado and corporate, right? And I was really, I know you're going to resonate with this. I'm the kind of person that when I set my mind to it, I just go, and just slash it. I'm like, smash it, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to get this, become really good at it. And of course, working in corporate, I did, but I was working 80 hours a week to 90 hours a week. And so I was literally living to work, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better. That's what I saw my parents do. And but what really caught what really made a click in my life is all of a sudden I was overweight. I was 53 pounds over, and I knew I was overweight. And my doctor said all of a sudden, was like, you're about to be diabetic, right? And I was
Wow.
whoa, yeah. And then so that thing that clicked in my mind, it wasn't like, oh, I don't want this life. It was just like, I can't afford that.
Okay.
Because I've seen people, I had employees that were diabetic and, special food, special all medicines and all that. I was like, injections. I'm like, I just can't afford that, And so a couple of months later, I started to shift my life. I started food, exercise, hardcore again, and really quickly, I dropped within exactly 10 months or 11 months, the 53 pounds. But in that journey of me, the first month I dropped 10 pounds. In that journey of me learning what I needed to do to have a good, healthy body was I realized that I wasn't living a good life, right? That I was really not having a life at all. And so that's what really became a whole revolution. I left the mountains a year later, and then I started this journey of okay, I up until that time, I realized that anything that I had set my mind into it, I had achieved it with fireworks and whatnot. So I was then I started this journey of okay, what can I'm really good in anything that I set my mind to it. I have so much to give. I have so much potential, but I want to find something that doesn't consume my life, right? And I want to find something that is fulfilling to me. And, I started that journey, and I remember I was just really not it was hard for me to find that, right? And I remember a year later, I was in Denver. I started to work for Whole Foods, but in that journey, I was I found myself in Red Rocks, at the top of Red Rocks, in a concert, Imagine Dragons, everybody partying, and I was literally sitting down, right?
Yeah.
But I was crying, and I was feeling so empty. And so I remember praying to God. And up until then, God and I weren't getting along so well, you know. So uh, I cried and I said, "It's like, use me. Like, I know I have so much to give, so much
Mhm.
potential. Use me. Show me the way." Right. And then within a few months, my path found me. You know, I was just like, I just follow the breadcrumbs. I started a couple of businesses. They started, they started doing good, really good from the beginning. And then I saw this uh, email that said, ready for an abundant 2014 back then. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. I want more, right?
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. And I didn't know anything about personal development, anything about energy or like anything. You know, I had my gifts, but like I didn't know I was different, you know?
Yeah.
And I took this program and literally overnight, everything up, all my chakras, everything, all my gifts like open up. Like I had them open, but like let's say like a 30-40%, and then all of a sudden it was 150%. Like, and
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
it's yeah, I started to experience this fluctuation of like happy, depressed, happy, like anger. And I was just, what is going on with me? And so then I started to really start to work myself, right? Like start to learn about that work. That program was about energy. And then
Mhm.
so I started to work my blogs and whatnot. And I started that journey for me, right? I wanted more abundance, I wanted a better life. But in that journey, like people just, I guess, felt my energy. I was sharing the communities and they'd be like, seems like you know what you're doing, you're connected. Can you coach me? Can you help me? And I was like, sure. And, you know, I just remember like my first coaching person, I was like, okay, what do I need to work with her? And I did a whole, from my intuition, I didn't know back then it was download, right? Of our 13 weeks together or whatever it was like. And then I stashed away I wrote down what we would work every week, and I stashed it away. And I didn't see that paper until, I don't know, months later. And then when I looked at that paper, we had already been done with that container. I was like, oh, it was
Wow.
exactly what we did. You know, I was like,
So
oh, okay.
like writing it down, like created the energy toward it, and it just
Yeah,
happened then. Wow.
it just happened. Like it's like, and it's beautiful that you said that, because like, did he create it, or was I tapping into that timeline and being all
Mm.
psychic? You know, it's just gonna,
Yeah.
one of the
Oh
questions that
yeah.
people ask me often is like, did I manifest that or did I tap into it? You know, both, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, from then on, my journey just, it it took me, I'm gonna say, like people started to show up, and I kept doing my thing, my work, like it was for me. And I'm gonna say that the thing that really has put me into where I am right now is that in that beginning, the first year to 2 years, I discover, you know, this is where like how we work unconsciously and the subconscious, right? Like I discover I was different of who I thought I was.
Mm.
They, because of a trauma that I went through when I was 6 years old, and the consequence of that trauma, I had led myself to believe that I was a mean person.
Yeah.
And I truly believed it.
Yeah.
And as you know, when you believe something, there's a lot of things that happen in the world, like, you know, your beliefs get validated, you
Yeah.
know, and, or at
The
least
reason
it's
I'm
not
or
like,
the reason I'm like smiling
yes.
when I hear you say that is because uh, my journey when it first started is like things like that. When you discover things like that, that literally now create your reality for the rest of your life, but you just walk around, we just walk around thinking this is who we are. When you actually discover why you are who you are, you realize you're living inside of a tiny box. And when you can
Mm.
discover those things, it just blows wide open, and you have now freedom. You have a choice. You can act different, be different, whatever, if you choose to.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because, and this is what, like in my work, my personal work, and now how I work with people is like, it's not only about, okay, so like, if you would have told me back then, it's not only the knowing or the knowledge, right? That we get into the mind. Okay, I'm different. It's about, to me, about the embodiment. It's about that knowing, right? If you would have told me back then, and I remember back then working with angels and the archangels, and they were telling me, you are light, or you are like one of us. And I was like, what? I just could not, like, it was such a contrast to who I thought I was that I could not accept it. It was really challenging for me, again, peeling those layers and peeling those layers. And again, like you hear one of the first things in your awakening, like you are love and you are light, and then that resonance in you, right? Like, yeah, but then that doesn't mean that all of you feels that way, right? Because you have taken, the way I see it is like jackets, right? Or jumper suits, like over and over and over, and then you can't even really tap in what you feel you are, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so that's, to me, is like, I thought I was mean, and then now I realize I'm like, that could not have been further from the truth, because I am really, really loving person, right? But again, it's that journey of like peeling and peeling. So I go from like this knowledge, right? Okay, I am not that, but now it's like the process, to me, the journey of is what I work with people and what I've done with me, right? And what I work with was like, okay, let's peel the layers so you not only have the knowledge, but actually the knowing, because it is the knowing, as you know, that our vibration, that a lighter frequency, our truer frequency, that creates our world, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, it is our frequency that creates our world. And like you said, it's like, if I have that belief, then everything else is going to be reflecting that, right? And what do you think happens to bad people, right? To mean people, right? And do they get what they want? They don't. Like all these beliefs, right? And you live the life that you don't want. But again, when you start to get to your truer essence, it's then life becomes more magical, right?
Yeah, exactly. So are you speaking a little bit to some of the things you help your clients discover? Or how does this play into now your offering with your clients?
So to me, it's like I love supporting like I said, trailblazers, visionaries, the leaders, right? I know, to me, there's one truth, the universal truth. And people can come and say, yeah, this is my truth and my truth. There is one truth that is common for all of us. Whether they believe it or not, it does not matter, because truth is right there no matter what, which is we are truly love. Not loving, we're not talking about the act or the sentiment, the emotion. It's like pure love. We are creators, right? We're powerful creators. And so I love working with the leaders, the visionaries, the trailblazers, because I know that the more they shift back to that truth, like the more people shed what they like the distortions, what I call the distortions, right? Or if I can, or I have to, the subconscious, like it has to happen the hard way. Or one of my favorites is like, oh, if life wouldn't have struggles, it wouldn't be fun, right? Like it's like life, like really,
like the ups and downs, yeah,
right? Like, oh, no pain, no gain, right? Exactly, the ups and downs. And the world has been like, that's the way we have been programmed, right? The world has been in that space, but right now I'm gonna say shedding and shedding more. We're raising consciousness more, and then we are in this space that, oh my, really? Is that what you truly want? Do you want to keep experiencing the struggles? I ask you, do you want to keep experiencing the struggles?
Hell no.
Right. Can you imagine if your life were all of, and this is like, this is beautiful because I'm feeling all kinds of things. So if I ask you, can you imagine a life where there's no like hard way?
Yeah, like nothing but flow and ease. I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah. And would you like that life?
Hell yeah.
Right. And so notice it's like, but there's a contrary beliefs inside, right? But it's like, but before, as a collective, we were like, no, we gotta experience the hard, the hurdles, because otherwise it's boring. Life is boring, right? I'm like, yeah, at this point it's like, no, we don't have to. And we're more in this space of like, what would it look like life, like from juicy to better, to better, to more pleasure, to more fun, to more creation, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, right. And so right now to me is like working with leaders is like, okay, you shed all the distortions like that, like, oh, I have to have the hard way, or like work hard, or life is gonna, or you're always gonna have haters, or it's not always gonna be problems. All that is being reflected in life. But when we
Hmm.
shed that, right, we shed that, we what we're living is like, as we're peeling the distortion, what we're living in the person, what we're living in you is your truth, which is ease, flow, creation, love, right? And the more we become that who we are affecting others just by being, just by our presence, right? And then people do see you and like, oh, life can be lived in a different way. Yes, it can. But also just your presence, people start to get activated, and that's why people like to hang out with you because, oh, you feel good, right? But it's like, so that, and I'm gonna say in that impact way, but for the world, and there is that impact in you because again, you get to have a more juicy life, right? Did that
Yeah.
respond to your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I uh, describe that,
Mm-hmm.
and correct me if this doesn't like match up, but the way I describe that is the more you use the terminology like taking jumper suits off, and there's many
Mm-hmm.
layers of jumper suits. The more of those you take off and discover a new version of yourself, and then a new version of yourself, and the more that happens, the more free you become from it all, and then the more magnetic you become. And that's what you're speaking to, is people pick up on the energy of that magnetism, and then they just want to be, they're intrigued and they want to be up to what you're up to, or at least a part of
Oh yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
And that then creates the flow and the ease, and like that's the way I kind of describe it.
Yeah.
um so yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. Yes. I mean, people, and that's the thing, right? I feel like the difference in, when I say the different frequencies, I truly believe that, I mean, what we all want is love, be loved, right? This is like, even I'm gonna say the worst person that we can think of in the world. What we all want is love, right? Because
Yeah.
it's our truth. It's really connecting with the truth of who we are. And then the magnetism is, and this is why when we see someone more in their truth, we're like, we're attracted to that because
Yeah.
it's a reminder of who we are. It's
Oh,
a
I love that.
reminder, right?
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we can have that like we are that, and then we can have that life, because
Yeah.
you're magnetic to people, but you're also magnetic to a better life. You're magnetic to more opportunities. You're magnetic to like adventure and deliciousness, right? So it's
Yeah.
just all of it, and people want that, right? That it's really a beautiful, like, I'm gonna say, mirror effect that we have.
Yeah. Oh, I
Mhm.
love that. Is there a so just so you know, a lot of the purpose, as you know, the purpose of this podcast is to hear the stories of innovative
Mm.
entrepreneurs, visionaries, people that are pushing against the norm. So this is perfect because this is who you are, and a lot of the listeners of this podcast, um, they're pushing against the norm. They are visionaries, and is there a like talk about the package of or do you have a name for kind of the package that you provide? Let's
Hmm.
say new client listens to this episode, is intrigued, gets connected with you.
Hmm.
Can you describe like what you offer on a high level, just so that the listeners can kind of understand that?
Yeah, yeah.
Like how will their time go when they first connect with you?
What I've noticed, and again, I'm gonna say it depends in terms of like where they at in their journey. So one of the things that I remember when you and I were hanging, one of the first that we were hanging out, remember, at Jordan's house, and I said, it's like, I do want to say I'm a trailblazer in this way, and this is gonna correlate to what you just asked me.
Yeah.
Um, that I'm someone that, like, I know some people are like into plant medicine, right? Like using all the tools. And I'm someone, and I'm all for that as a support. Okay. But to me, it's like I'm all about showing people that they can drop in and become who they are with ease, right? You don't need to be dependent on, let's say, on medicine. It can be a great support, but you don't need to be dependent to become your greatest version. And it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be pushing down affirmations or like, trying to like changing habits, which it helps, it supports, but there's an easier way, right? There's an easier way. And this is the journey when someone comes in to work with me. Because the first thing that I notice is a lot, like, let's say you want to manifest like your vision. Right now you're building a huge, beautiful project, right? Starting in Panama, right? Like, or someone else, like, whatever you want to, in your vision, your family, your love life, your money, your impact in the world, whatever that is. What I've noticed is like the first phase is supporting you in your becoming, in unleashing you, in showing up, embodying who you are, your power, right? And so it's the journey to come back to the love that you are, right? And I say love because that's the frequency of creation, right? That's the true frequency of creation, right? And so the first phase is like, as someone comes in, is like we drop into, and it can be, it really depends on what they are desiring to create. And I'm always like, I'm not a healer, although there's certain things that we do healing. It's really transformation, but I'm someone that likes to drive based on creation, like drive myself, drive my clients based on creation. What do you want? Because many people get stuck into healing. I want to clear this, I want to heal this, I want to heal this, but then what? What, right? Because we can, literally we can heal forever and ever and ever. Like, but what are you, like, you're here to create some delicious life, right? Something in like your vision, right? And so I start with creation. Based on creation, I like to start with people on a 13-week period with me to, again, just start to unpack all these things that are not allowing you to be who you truly are. And then in that process, it's literally we just unpack, and then your energy just naturally comes through. And you just start to, again, like, it's just beautiful what happens. You're like more vibrant, more magnetic. And again, like, let's say I'm going, like, this is what most people I notice is like the first phase is embodying your power, embodying your truth, right? Then the second phase, I noticed that people like to go into like relationship, their partnership, like ascending, right? Ascending. So whether it's that they haven't attracted, they haven't magnetized their beautiful soulmate partner, right? And to me, again, in this path of becoming, it's about, because so many people can manifest someone. And does that mean, one, that they stay in that relationship? Like, it doesn't, right? And the other thing is, like, sometimes they attract their karmic relationship, and so it's like, and then they don't even know it, right? Like, they're attracted, but like a lot of the attraction in people is based on unresolved karma that you have, you have within you, really. So things that, and so to me, it's about, again, that ascended relationship, attracting that partner, or elevating, if someone has a partner, elevating it and making it, again, like in a way that the relationship is like evolve, and they both are right there, elevating each other, evolving each other, growing each other, right? And deepening in love, because your partner, there's a reason why we choose to have a partner, right? Right? It's like, very well, because you have that in your life. It's like you can go so much further and build so much more on top of like receiving so much more, right? So that's normally what I see. And then the next phase is like manifesting the impact. Like bringing forward the vision, right? Like the impact, the purpose, right? And so what I noticed right there is like right now you're like creating your vision. It's like again, it's like we talk, and it's always about you. It's never about the person or the vision. It's always about you. It's like three different phases of you, right? First, you truly embody yourself. Then, like you embody that version that has that delicious relationship, right? And then you embody that visionary or the trailblazer, the entrepreneur, like that version that is bring you with ease that vision forward, that is attracting the perfect situations or collaborators or co-creators or like people that would support the vision, and also the clients or everyone that you're meant to impact, right? All that those
Right.
soul agreements come, and again with ease. And so again, it's you becoming, it's always you becoming that version of you, but like what I've noticed in different phases. So I like to normally start with like a 13-week period, right? And then depending where they are, like sometimes it's like if they've done a lot of work, or if they have different things covered, right? We can drop in. I like to also mix it up in the way with dropping in with a whole day, or sometimes it's more juicy when it's 3 days to really work different things, especially around their path.
Mm-hmm.
And right there we do a lot of magical work, and then things just really really accelerate, like working with people. I've seen like people had been trying for months or years in creating something, and then all of a sudden after that it's like the next day is like boom 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 things. They're like, what just happened? It's like it starts
Yeah,
to
because
show up and
like
drop.
yeah, like through your process, they maybe discovered something, a block that they had that now is gone, and things just
Hmm.
happened rapidly because the block's gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
one thing
that's
you oh, go ahead.
go ahead, you first.
I was just gonna say one thing that I loved that you said was that it depends on where they're at. So, I'll just use massage as an example. There's always these places where you go get a massage, and you can tell the person just does the same exact thing to every single client. And yeah, it feels nice, but it's really not doing much at the end of the day. It's those massage therapists that know the body so well and the structure, and take the time to really feel into what's happening for the individual, that you feel like a new freaking person when you walk out, and like, oh my God, that's the best fucking massage I've ever had. That's what you do for for your
I
leadership.
love that because that really illustrates. Because I love that. Thank you for bringing that parallel. Because
Yeah.
yes, it is like in the work. It's not only discovering. To me, like as a matter of fact, I don't call myself a coach. I don't do coaching because it's not about
Mhm.
getting you into the thinking. As a matter of fact, I tell my people, remember, this is not talk therapy and this is not coaching. This is transformation. So as things come up, I'm literally like a massage therapist. I love that you brought that up.
Mhm.
Energetically, we're literally transforming the subconscious and unconscious blocks, which are what creates reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before, that it's important to speak things into existence. However, if you're speaking something into existence, but your thoughts in the background are running the show, like completely different from that, that's actually what's going to occur and happen. So like shifting the subconscious mind to be aligned with what you're speaking is really where the magic is. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
then I love to bring that up because some people are scared to say those back thoughts, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna create it. No, you already are creating it. Just because you don't
Yeah.
say it out loud doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're not creating it. It is
Right.
happening, right? And the whole point is, on the contrary, the moment that you say it, it's kind of like you're clearing the closet. It's kind of like you're
Mm-hmm.
airing the closet. Okay, I have in the back of my thought, like, it's never going to happen, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I say it, and then we can start to bring everything, because that's just like literally, remember, the subconscious is like the iceberg, right? It's literally like the tip of the iceberg. And so when we bring it to the front, it's like we can start to melt the iceberg. And that's what I do when I explain to, when I work with people. Is like, we're gonna start to melt the iceberg, back to truth. And they're like, okay,
Yeah, and
and
then what happens when the
that's what we
top
do.
melts is it floats higher, and then it melts and floats higher. That's awesome.
Yes, yes. I love that you finished my thoughts. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
It's
You feel
beautiful.
lighter and lighter. And that's what, like, people like, I feel lighter, right?
Yeah.
And then magic happens when you're floating.
Very cool. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
I want to transition into like just some rapid fire questions that just so the listeners can get, and I can get to know you more on a personal level.
Yeah.
And then we'll end with people that listen to my podcast regularly. My last question, which is my favorite. So is there any individual or book or like that has been like what you would say the most impactful thing for you in your life, either an individual or an author or
I want to say the
thought leader?
individual is definitely my partner, my beloved
Okay.
Oz. Yeah.
Oz, he's incredible.
He is, he
What
is,
about him?
I share why? So, yeah. Well, when we met, we were friends. We had a little fling, but then we realized that we weren't to be romantic, and we
Yeah.
became friends, and then we became best friends, and then eventually we became romantic partners, right? He's a person that he's the only human, really, that I have been able to unleash, let's say, all my humanness. All of it, all my shadow, when I was like high trigger, all like when I was afraid, I'm like everything.
Complete
And
vulnerability.
complete, like,
Yeah.
and then he's done the same with me. And there were many times when we were friends that we had big fights, and then because we both have big personalities, right? And I personally am used to that. It's like we have big personalities. And I never knew how we would make it through. I was like, I think this is it. There have been several fights that we're like a little bit of drama queens right here. We like to go like full on. But and I never knew. I was like, I don't know how we survived this. And we made it through. And we made it through. And we made it through. And I truly believe, like, and recently he sent me this meme. Is like, we have so many wounds around relationships, right? And it takes that one person to help you heal in relationships, right? And so, again, we've gone through so much, literally lived like 26 lifetimes together in the year and a half that we know each other.
Wow.
And so many eruptions, volcanoes, we would call it, because that's what like we were going through. And to always being able to make it to the other side, because our ultimate commitment is love. And the beautiful thing with him is like, he does his work, I do my work, and then we just like, again, we show up. I don't know how it's gonna go, but just, again, the commitment to love. Not There wasn't an attachment to being in another relationship. It was just an attachment to be present in love. And then we made it through. And so that is like, and again, seeing him, our last biggest fight, and I know we're complete with that. It was like in May, and we took apart like 10, 11 days, and he went through such a deep transformation all on his own, like literally day and night. And so I remember when we get back to like, okay, let's try to talk, like I was like, is this real, right? Has he really grown? And like,
We're sure you
literally,
trust it. Yeah.
right, like, or is he just like, this is for the moment, right? And it was just incredible. I mean, he's a human being that he amazes me all the time. And that being able to now being so much love, being so committed, being like holding each other in a space whenever we go through a stuff, and not projecting, or like even being so vulnerable and sharing. Again, I've seen him come from this space not sharing, and to now is just, hey, I'm scared, but I'm still gonna share,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced with anyone what I have experienced with him. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Complete vulnerability and openness together,
Yeah.
both of you,
Mm-hmm.
and you both doing your work individually, and then you're recommitting, committing newly, and choosing each other over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
It
I'm
is.
so happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've
Thank
gotten to meet him, hang out a couple times, and I just love Oz. Tell
Yeah,
him I say hello.
I will. Thank you.
Next question. Let's see here. You grew up in, how old were you when you moved from Peru?
21.
So what's the best place that you have ever traveled?
In the whole world?
Yeah, like you're probably a person that has gone a few places. So like,
Yeah.
what's your favorite place you've ever gone?
I'm gonna say Oahu, the northern shore of Oahu. It's just so magical. It's so magical. I was guided to go there, and literally, I was led to be. I was like in 2-3 weeks traveling through Hawaii, and it was just, I never knew. It was my guidance was like, okay, today you're done with this place, and I'm like, where to? We'll tell you. And I was like traveling alone. And when I got to Oahu, it was such a beautiful, just magical, peaceful. It felt like the creator was there. It's just that's the best way I can put it. It's just like, I love that part of Oahu.
I've heard that.
visit.
I've heard several people say like they went to a place and they felt like their soul belonged there or something like that. Is that kind of what you're describing? Like it was just like
No, I just felt no, I haven't experienced that yet. Although Colorado, not Peru, Colorado has felt home like a long time. And this is definitely what it has. It seems like it's shifting again, but but before Colorado, I never felt home anywhere in the planet. I travel a lot, and I was like, yeah, it's great. No, it was more like Oahu was more like, it really feels like pure love creation. The creator, I don't know what is coming to my mind is like the creator lives there.
Wow. Okay.
Pure love. It's just like really magical, taken care of. That's to me the feeling, being taken care of.
Cool. Wow. I've been to Hawaii when I was a kid, but Hawaii was one of the islands, and then I can't remember the other one, but I don't think I've ever been to Oahu.
Yeah.
It's so I'll have to make it over there.
Yes, that's where the capital of Hawaii is, Honolulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Incredible. And then last question, what is your superpower?
Ooh. Does love count?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, let me feel into this. Because one of the things that I always say, I'm gonna say love magic.
Love magic.
Love magic. Yeah, because there's all kinds of magics, but love magic. I do like, to me, my presence. I know now that my presence shifts things. And when people ask me why MaZix, and I just tell them, or what does it mean, right? And I just tell them, just watch for 10, and then in 10 minutes they know, like, oh, I know what you mean, right? Like, I know I'm pure magic, but it's just this aliveness, and really what people are perceiving, I know through all of me, through my presence, is love. Just to be able to, like, no matter what, I can see the person and I can see who they truly are. No matter how much shadow, how many blocks, how many things they can be going through, it doesn't matter. I just see who they truly are. And
Wow.
in that, remember quantum physics, as you see the molecules change, and
Mhm.
that's to me it. Like I just know, and and they know that I see them. I see them
Yeah.
in their truth, you know. So
Everything that you just described, I have 100% felt and experienced since we've met. And so wow.
yeah. And love heals, truly.
I move things for your clients that in the way that you do.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. How can people
Thank
get
you.
in touch with you? How can the listeners
Oh,
get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you if anyone's interested in learning more about what you do?
yes. Right now, I'm really dedicated to my Facebook group. My Facebook group keeps changing names. I'm like trying to hone in what I'm bringing in words. But the best way is like MaZixMahalel.com, and you'll see a banner. So again, come and hang out with me in my Facebook group. I mean, and then you're there, right? Because I'm like
Yeah.
coming all the time with training, supporting people and whatnot. And then you get to know me and you get to know my magic and whatnot.
Yeah. Just, and you
So
give that as gifts. Yeah. That's a great
oh yeah,
idea.
yeah, and so you can find me in social media with Facebook MaZix Mahalel, and again, all that the easiest way MaZixMahalel.com, and you'll see the banner to my Facebook group, or you can find me on Facebook, and then just go to my Facebook group, and then again, let's play, let's get into the interaction. And if
That's
you
great.
are someone, you know, I love if you're someone, whoever is listening, that you know is like this feels right, just hop on it. A lot of people like literally interact twice, three times with me, and they're like, "Okay, let's just get it going."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I attract a lot of those people, like the go getters, right? Like
Yeah.
I know it. Let's just go. I don't need more conversations. Let's just get it done.
Yeah. It's the
So just
energy that you
yeah,
have too. Yeah.
yeah. So just be
Cool. And
amazing.
we'll put links to your contacts and your Facebook group and everything in our postings. So
Yes.
well, thank you so much. This was such a fun
Thank you so much,
conversation.
Matt. Yes.
Yeah, I always love spending time with you.
Likewise.
All
Thank you.
right. Enjoy
It's
the
so
rest of your
juicy.
day.
You too, love.
Bye-bye.